purposely wanted to sort of revisit the old in order to start and tell the new. And that was the challenge. And again, for those who hate it, I could not respect your opinion more. And for those who love it, I question your sanity. It felt right to us at the time, and as does this one now.
Star Wars The Force Awakens is the biggest disappointment since my son. That's kind of a red letter media start, isn't it? Anyway, for some reason people really enjoyed the movie Star Wars Force Awakens, and yet I really don't know why. Some people just seem to like lightsabers and explosions, but I don't. It's okay if you do, but I don't feel like that's what made the originals enjoyable or iconic. The first issue may seem petty. The title Force Awakens is completely meaningless. It actually sounds like a porn parody. It seems like a line a male porn star would utter just before he begins the act of abrupt coitus.
I can feel the Force!
Did it awaken R2-D2? Is it awakening in Rey? Is the Force just awakening in general?
That's not how the Force works.
The Force is explained in the originals and the prequels as being a force like gravity. It's just all around us.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us. You must feel the Force around you.
It seems like that the title is just a meaningless title that sounded Star Warsy, so they went with it. Anyway, the movie starts in space, like all Star Wars movies. However, Jar Jar Abrams for some reason did not write a scene starting in space. Instead, he starts his movie in a tent with an old man and Poe. Why not start the movie in space? Or why not just pan from space down to the tent? It's not necessary to start in space. So instead we get a pointless scene where stormtroopers are flying down. However, this would have been better if it was a surprise rather than revealing they are coming to us now. Then we pan down to a robot, a weird round droid that apparently has no radio function as it must roll away to warn Poe of this ship approaching. It is actually a very stupid concept of a droid because it will get dirt and fecal matter rolled up within inside the droid. However, it does make a good toy. We now get the conversation between the old man and Poe, which is weirdly cryptic. However, we know everything they are talking about because it was revealed to us in the exposition scroll. So when Poe says,
"The General's been after this for a long time,"
it is confusing because we know that it is a clue to find Luke. And when the old man says,
"The General, to me she is royalty,"
it is also confusing. We know it's Leia, we know that she's royalty, and we know that she is the General. Did he think that this would be a good mystery box for us? I can only assume this is true because later on, Kylo learns from Poe that it is a map and does not seem to be surprised that this is a map. And if Poe knew that this was a map, then why did he not say map when he took it from the old man? Why would you have the character say clue? Why not say map in the exposition scroll? When saying map would be clear to the audience. I can only assume that the reason for this was to give some form of mystery for us in the audience. However, we can all assume that it must have been a map of some form. What else could it possibly be? I'm also confused on why the Empire has changed its name to the First Order. Is it not they are the Second Order? Was not the Empire the First Order? And why has the Rebels been renamed to the Resistance? They won the war. Why are they still the Rebels? It seems to me that everyone was on their side. Have they not aimed a little low? Why are they not the New Republic? Anyway, for some reason the stormtroopers have become apparently even dumber. The purpose of the raid was to find the map, as Kylo wishes to find Luke, but they just start destroying everything. One stormtrooper even sets fire to a basket. What if that basket had the plans in it? Boy, would his face be red. So they capture the old man, who may be of some importance, but don't get hung up on this, as it's never explained throughout the movies, and within a few lines he is cut down. It didn't really make any sense. Kylo didn't even try to interrogate him. He just drew his lightsaber and struck him down like one would if they saw Piers Morgan's testicles. It makes me look back at the originals, where Darth Vader strangled a rebel soldier. We get the impression that Darth Vader was torturing this rebellion soldier for a while, but became sick of his refusal to provide information.
Where are those transmissions you intercepted? What have you done with those plans? We intercepted no transmissions!
However, Kylo, within the same scene, changes character. Poe runs out to shoot him, and Kylo is so powerful he can freeze people and blaster shots too. Kylo now has Poe brought forward and looks at Poe. He stares into his eyes and for some reason assumes that he must know where the plans are. He then decides that he must take Poe away to interrogate him for where the map is. He's so sure that Poe knows where the map is, he kills all the other captives. However, very bizarrely, he requests that he must leave the planet and go to a special room for him to interrogate Poe. However, Poe does not have the map on him, so clearly the map must be around somewhere. Even if the room is absolutely necessary for Poe to be interrogated, should not a party of stormtroopers search the area? I do not understand. Why are they being actually mentally deficient? Kylo presents a new ability in Star Wars, where he can download information from people at will, using his supposedly irresistible hand. This ability, I can only assume, was drawn from Darth Vader's mind reading of Luke in the last movie. However, it seemed in the originals and in the prequels that this power was not something anyone could do, but only between two people who had the Force. The information was not selected either, but drawn out emotionally. If someone was feeling emotion for something, the information that they were feeling emotion for was revealed. So Luke was experiencing feelings for his sister, and Darth Vader could feel this and knew that he had a daughter too.
Your thoughts betray you. Your feelings for them are strong, especially for sister.
It seems that Jar Jar Abrams just extrapolated from this power and formed it into something bigger than it was so that he could get his character out of a sticky situation, that is, he needed to know where the map was. Finally, we meet Rey. Her life sucks because she has to work all her life for hexagonal green powder instant bread mix. She then comes across a thing riding a thing trying to scavenge a basketball droid. For some reason, she finds this morally objectionable. There is no reason to actually believe this, as she scavenges things herself. A droid is not a living being, and they have never been treated as one either. Why is she so indignant over its treatment here? Is she a supporter of ending the droid wage gap? I do not know. This is not the most confusing thing. What is most confusing is she speaks to this robot.
Where do you come from? Classified, really?
It has always been treated that the beeps and bops of these droids cannot be understood by living beings, as if it is some form of machine code language that humans or any being cannot understand.
He says the restraining bolt has short-circuited his recording system.
It seems to me that Jar Jar Abrams had no way of Rey learning about the map and the Resistance, so he just decided that Rey could speak to the robots. Rey's unexplained ability number 1. So she saves the droid, and the other thing walks off like a complete cuck. Back on the Star Destroyer, we meet Finn, who is hyperventilating. It seems apparent that he wants to hand in his resignation, but the departure policy is not very kind with the First Order. So he decides to break out. You'd think it would be a difficult task, but actually...
It's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
The security on the Star Destroyer is very poor. Finn merely walks in and says he needs the prisoner, and takes Poe out. Poe appears not to be kept in any high security. He is not either kept in a designed detention center. It's just a random room on a soundstage. I mean, a hallway in the Star Destroyer. Accessing the TIE Fighter is also barely an inconvenience. No one questions the unauthorized personnel climbing into the TIE Fighter. At this point, some people actually have a problem with the way that Finn starts shooting all the stormtroopers, claiming that he was traumatized by his buddy. However, I don't really believe that he cared about the stormtrooper who died in his arms, but rather he looked at the stormtrooper dying and thought this could be me, and so wanted out. So we find out that Poe is actually not the best pilot in the galaxy because he cannot detect that the TIE Fighter is still plugged into the fuel line. This alerts everyone in the hangar, and now everyone is after them. If he was not so stupid to have done this, they would have got away very easily. So they fly away and they get shot. The TIE Fighter is heavily damaged and goes plummeting down to the planet at high speed. Why Jar Jar Abrams did not just dial back the destruction, so making it more reasonable, I do not know. Anyway, it apparently does not matter as the TIE Fighter lands fairly intact.